Hi, it's Elizabeth Hamilton from McCoy Farm and Gardens. Today we're going to take a look at some of the ferns that you can find here on the property. Many ferns mature in late summer, so August is a great time to take a walk around the property and look at them. Let's go. We'll find our first fern just off the trail near the Cumberland Crossing Bridge on the side of this tree here. This is the resurrection fern, whose Latin name is Polypodium polypodioides, and it's an evergreen fern. It's an epiphyte, which means that it gets its nutrients from the air and the water. So here it's growing on the side of a tree, but it also grows on rocks, and I've seen it in Prentice Cooper on rocks. It's small, it only gets about 6 to 12 inches tall, and grows in shady areas, which obviously we're in. It turns brown in dry weather, which is actually why it looks pretty bad right now. We're coming to the end of the dry summer season, and we've gotten a little bit of rain in the last week, so you can see it's starting to green up a good bit more. And that's why it's called the resurrection fern, because when it's dry, it shrivels up and turns brown to protect itself, but when the moisture returns to the air, it actually sucks in the moisture and becomes green again and looks like it resurrects. It's native to Hamilton County. You can find it on the plateau. I've seen it in Prentice Cooper as well as here at McCoy. So now we're gonna take a walk across the Cumberland Crossing Bridge here to go look at another exciting fern, the sensitive fern. The next fern we're going to take a look at is the sensitive fern, Onoclea sensibilis. So this is a fern that can be found in Hamilton County. It's a pretty good sized fern. It gets to be about 3 to 4 feet tall. You can see the fronds are actually pretty large. It loves wet soil, so we're here in kind of a wet part of the property near the Cumberland Crossing Bridge, just right on the trail, and there's a creek behind us over here. And you can see that the fern goes here, it starts back there, and there's kind of a large colony that goes all the way over here, and it actually goes around to the other side of the trail as well. They get their name because they are sensitive to frost. So they're a plant that succumbs to the first early frost of the year, and then they will die back. They have fertile fronds that will stand throughout winter. They'll remain and actually provide food for turkeys. I don't see any of those today. But maybe later in the summer when you come by, you'll get a chance to check those out. So now we're going to head up to the Horseshoe Garden to take a look at some more ferns. Now we're going to take a look at the ostrich fern, Matusia struthioteris. This is a fern that's native to North America, but actually isn't native to Hamilton County. It prefers the cooler climates of Kentucky northward. It likes dappled shade and moist soil, and it doesn't like the soil to dry out. It will end up making large colonies, which you can see here in the Horseshoe Garden. The one here has made a small colony. It grows about 3 to 6 feet tall. These are on the short side at around 3 feet, but they definitely get up to 6 feet tall. It has limited wildlife value, although it does provide cover for small animals, but doesn't really provide any kind of food. It's deciduous, so it will die all the way back in winter. This is the northern maidenhair fern, Adiantium pedatum. So this fern is another one of the ferns that's found in Hamilton County. It likes full shade and moist soil. It has these really kind of delicate ethereal leaves that are very pretty. This one is looking a little bit tired, probably from the lack of water we've had the last month or so. You can see they're relatively small, only about 1.5 feet tall to about 1.5 feet wide, and then they spread slowly by rhizome to form colonies. This is the only one I found on the property that was planted here, but like I said before, they're found in Hamilton County, so if you're out hiking around, keep your eye out. You might spot one. This is probably the most common fern and easiest to identify fern that you're going to find here in Hamilton County. This is the Christmas fern. It gets its name because it's one of the few ferns that is actually still green at Christmas time. You can find it in deep shade to part sun. It prefers drier soils than some of the other ferns we've looked at, like sensitive fern, and is often found on slopes and on the edges of creeks. It's a really great fern for erosion control because you can see the fronds as they die, they actually fall back to the ground and they make a mat. It's a clumping fern, so it doesn't form a colony like an ostrich fern, but you often find them clustered together. Part of what makes it easy to identify is if you look at the leaves, they have this little bump right here. So this little kind of jut out, and that's how you can know it's a Christmas fern. They're very pretty, and this one I think is just absolutely gorgeous right now in the Horseshoe Garden. These are all over the McCoy property. Unfortunately, a lot of them right now are covered in poison ivy, so I didn't want to trek through that to show you one of the woodland ones, but definitely come winter time, keep an eye out for this one and you'll spot it. Thanks for joining me today to take a look at some of the ferns we have here at McCoy Farm and Gardens. I hope you learned something, and I hope next time you're on a walk here, you can stop and appreciate some of the ferns we saw today. Until next time.